Welcome, everybody, to Molson Canadian Pregame on Leafs TV. I'm Jody Vance, along with Joe Bowen, Mark Morrow, and Leafs TV senior reporter Paul Henrik.
When did we get Sam Donaldson to work here?
He's got the gray hair.
So this is the Cub reporter, and what am I, the journeyman reporter?
You are the fabulous play-by-play man, don't you know? Well. On tonight's show, we have a big one lined up for you. The headlines powered by Ford for you include everything you will need to know about tonight's game to be prepared. We have some news and views that you do not want to miss. Also, Greg Millen will be hitting the ice with a couple of Toronto Maple Leafs. Who does he have? He has Pavel Kabina and Alex Steen, who he's had brief interviews with, and a very special treat tonight. Mark Bell will stop by on set and chat with Mark Morrow and myself. But first, we get the headlines brought to you by Ford, powered by you. And we start with you, Joe Bowen. I want to talk about the game in Pittsburgh. Safe to say a couple of unfortunate bounces for the Toronto Maple Leafs?
I would think so, and I'm not sure if the senior reporter would agree with me on this. But
Probably
not. But if they had not thrown the puck into their own net on a couple of occasions off skates and then had a blown tire by Anton Strawman, they win 2-0. But, I mean, these were unfortunate situations and a lot of things. And I know that my junior Cub reporter over here, Mark Morrow, would know as a defenseman. I mean, they go in off all parts of your body, and if that's Anton Strawman's first, it won't be the last time that it goes in off of him into the net.
No, and it's a preseason game, so it's a good thing that you're working the kinks out now and get the garbage out of the system. I could say firsthand that I know this feeling, and it's not a good one because I probably put more in my own net than I did in the opposing that way.
Now, I want to talk to you about Luke Schenn, though. I mean, how does he look so far to you?
I haven't noticed him, and that's been great.
That's the best thing that's happened. He hasn't been spectacular out there. He hasn't been flashy, but the one thing he has been is very consistent, very patient. He's doing a lot of the little things out there, a lot of the things that Ron Wilson is preaching. And the other big thing asset that I've noticed is he's gotten better as each stage of training camp has gone on, from rookie camp to the first couple of days of practice to facing Stahl and Malkin. He has definitely gotten a lot better, don't you think, Paul?
Well, we were watching him at practice yesterday, Mark, and you brought up a good point that he is one player that keeps the stick on the ice at all times, and when that stick gets up, the Leafs take penalties, and this is something that Ron Wilson doesn't want to see. It's the attention to detail, and that specific detail is an important, and Luke Schenn so far has been good in that regard.
Well, Paul, I've been very impressed with the way his outlet passes have been. They've been crisp, they've been quick. He hasn't held on to the puck too long. It's the old adage of the defenseman saying, give it to the guy up front. Let him screw up. Don't give it back to me. Yep. Get it out of here.
And Ron Wilson, in his game day skate address, he did say, I like him. He's in, and he'll continue to play for now. And we'll see where that takes us when we get closer.
He's expected to play maybe 4 of the remaining games, and he'll play tonight.
That's what he was saying. Let's talk about trimming the roster, Joe. How do you see it shaking down?
Well, I mean, they're going to they've got so many games that they have to keep some people around because you can't play everybody in the game. So they'll trim a little bit. They did today with some of the guys heading down to the Marlies, as you see on the screen. But I don't see them doing much more until after the Detroit home-and-home series, and before they play Columbus. And I think then you'll see more of them go down.
Mark, did you find it at all unusual that Ron Wilson really did address the goaltending situation for the remainder of this preseason? Is that pretty stock standard from a player's standpoint? You usually look at that and say, yeah, we know who's starting.
Well, there's no competition for this position.
Right.
It's the one spot on the team that doesn't have competition. And I think there's a fine line between overworking Vesitoskala and underworking him, and he's trying to find that balance. The last thing you want is a tired goaltender going into the regular season, but at the same time, you don't want one that's not prepared.
Got to be sharp. And the last time we did a home game, Andy was outside having a party, the tailgate party.
Yeah, the tailgate party.
Game number 2 at home.
She's upstairs.
Having a little party. Andy, you having a little party?
Jody, this is great. I'm loving this. Yeah, you mentioned last time I was outside. Now I'm on the main concourse outside Lord Stanley's mug. And just moments ago, I had a bunch of rowdy fans behind me as well. Since then, they have been escorted to their seats. And that's because to kick off the hockey season every year, a select group of Molson insiders are chosen to enjoy a fun-filled day. That day was today, and it started off by meeting Leafs alumni Wendell Clark, Rick Vive. There was food, there's drinks, and then, of course, they got some great tickets to the game. But the special treat of the day was when the head coach, Ron Wilson, came on up to talk to them. And, of course, a lot of questions were given to him by the voice of the Toronto Maple Leafs, Joe Bowen. I know you guys were just talking about titles there. And then he joined me afterwards and said why events like these are good for the fans.
I don't really get paid by the Toronto Maple Leafs. I get paid by those fans. And for us to interact with our fans and reconnect, I think there's been a little bit of a divide between the fans and the players for a few years. It's been allowed to grow. We've got to bridge that gap again. And if I can help by coming up here, being funny sometimes, or just trying to explain to the fans what we're thinking as a coaching staff and how our players are feeling and taking the suggestions I give them, I think is a good way for them to feel part of it.
It is a preseason game tonight, but still, it's a big deal to have the coach of the Toronto Maple Leafs come up before a game and talk to the fans. Are these types of things fun for you?
No, they are. You see, I don't think it's a big deal to me. It's just what we do. And I've, had the fortune of coaching Anaheim, Washington, and San Jose, where you might not view them as big markets, but this is part of your job, to interact with the fans and try to create new hockey fans or help in their understanding of the game. Now, in Canada, a lot more people have an understanding, but they don't get an insider's viewpoint all the time, except what they might hear on TV and little sound bites and things like that. So if they can interact with me or some of our players who aren't playing, I think it's going to be great.